Well, boys and girls, because of all of the Christmas, New Year's erratic schedule stuff, there is a chance you've looked at this thumbnail and you have no idea what's going on. I've finally left Turkey. I'm in Italy managing Roma, and it's not going very well. I've only managed a couple of matches, but it's not going very well. So our job now is to try and make it to the January transfer window so I can spend the enormous amount of money I've got. There is a chance I'll get sacked before that happens, though. So this might be my shortest spell at a club ever. When did we arrive? We arrived, job history. So I got this. When is it? I want to see the date I got the job. How do I see the date I got the job? The 21st of September. So I got the job on the 21st of September. So we've played that game against Pisa, which we drew, and then we've lost 3-0 at home to Atalanta. These two are friendlies. So we've only played 2 games in the league. We haven't won either of them, and we looked pathetic in the last one. But there is a long way to go until we get to January and me being able to actually do some transfers, because obviously this is just me making do with the squad that was already here. We've got to get through all of these matches before the transfer window opens. If we don't turn it around before then, I won't make it to January. I've played enough Football Manager before to know we won't survive to January unless we start moving up this table. We're currently in 12th place. The media are predicting 7th place. The board are looking for top half. The fans don't really care by the looks of it. They want us to qualify for the Europa League. But we've got a really old squad. A bunch of old pensioners knocking around the place. Look at them all. As ever, when you take over an AI team in FM, more like 2/3 of the squad are 29 or over. They're so old. So we have got a lot of rebuilding to do, but obviously we can't do it unless we make it to January. So in the meantime, we need to try to stop losing. So we play Como next, who are in the relegation zone. We've got a week before that happens. Tactically, the 4-3-3 did not work at all in that last match. I think Paskev has sent me a message by saving a 4-2-3-1. So I think we've decided we're trying this in the next match. Even Tammy Abraham is not scoring. Oh, God, I forgot we were signing a guy from Scotland as well. Fraser Sharp, 6'4", all 6'4" of him, is joining us on the 2nd of January. He's our one non-EU player we're allowed to bring in from Celtic. So if Tammy does start scoring, it doesn't really matter because we're going to replace him in January anyway. But in the meantime, I would like him. What? They're cutting the amount of staff I'm allowed. That feels like a bad idea in the circumstances. Oh, Kev, things aren't going very well. How's about you have less staff? Will that help you improve? No. That won't help me improve at all. Right. Let's go and do a football. Easy. Easy. Peasy. Come along, then. And if we get aliens, I'm just going to bed. So I won't even end the stream. I'll just leave the room. I'll let Topher figure out how to remote in and turn it all off. He'll have to contact Matt. Because I spent so many hours yesterday. The whole process must have been like 15 hours getting this Mac up and running ready for this. Because it takes so long. In my graphic mods folder for FM, there are 1.3 million individual images. It's only 20 gig, but it's 1.3 million images. It took so long to move it into Dropbox. I could have put it onto a thumb drive. I decided to do it Dropbox. I don't think it would have been much quicker on a thumb drive. Maybe we lose one of these steps if we did it that way. But it took about 8 hours to actually transfer it into the Dropbox folder. It then uploaded relatively quickly, but then it had to download. And it was downloading as it was uploading, as it was transferring. And it was just so slow. And then once it got onto the Mac, I had to move it into the right folder from Dropbox on the Mac into the graphics folder here as well. So such a ball ache of a process. Where would I start the new save? I mean, we're not... Just to clarify, we're not starting a new save. This one is still very much in full flow. I'm not going to become one of those people, we've done a goal, who gets a reputation for starting and not finishing saves. Especially because some people argued home wasn't properly finished. So we're finishing the save. the next one will probably be similar again, another unemployed save. There we go. Did I have to re-record today's intro following the news? No, I actually recorded it this morning because I was trying to get the Mac up and running. Did I see you were mentioned on a podcast with Jamie Hutchinson, if you know who it is? I don't think I did know who it was, but I have seen the clip on TikTok. Someone sent it to me. Which, I mean, he's right. I am great. I think I've seen a clip of him talking about FM before. I might have to discover who he is. I don't pay a lot of attention to who's who. Your job offers are much more realistic this year. Yeah, I think they are. The two saves that we've done now that involve moving clubs, I think they've been really sensible, logical career progressions. This save's been glorious. Working my way up through the various Ankara clubs and then jumping across whatever that bit of sea is called to Italy. It's brilliant. And yeah, on Non-League to Legend, it's been great. I mean, Birmingham is what, half an hour from Tamworth? Maybe 45 minutes, an hour from Burton. But it's all still very much the same geographical area. Is that the Mediterranean? I thought the Mediterranean bit was the bit between Italy and Spain. I didn't realise it went all the way around to Turkey and Greece. Is that all the Mediterranean? Well, there you go. I don't look at maps very often. Kev isn't good at geography. Kev's great at geography. Kev got an A in geography GCSE. As anyone else who got an A in geography GCSE will know, geography has very little to do with knowing the names of seas and cities, and an awful lot to do with understanding soil distribution on river migration. I don't know when geography in common language became knowing where countries and cities and seas are, because that's certainly not what the subject of geography is. I don't know which one veered off from the original meaning. You really shouldn't be doing that. Oh, football. I remember a couple of years after I left school, and Friends Reunited had just become a thing. So I joined Friends Reunited. By this point, I was married with a kid, but I was still only like 21, 22. And my old form tutor commented on the fact that I was married, that I'd thrown my life away, basically. And the early 2000s were wild. She ended up running the teacher training program in that area for many years. It was very much a comment made on a weekend evening as well. So she was clearly drunk and just browsing the internet, saw that and posted in a drunken state without thinking, I guess. Bearing in mind as well, when I was in lower sixth, as part of our team building day in lower sixth, so this is when we were all 16, 17 years old, we went on this massive bike ride around the town and then back to her house for a barbecue where we all got hammered, and I had to cycle home so drunk I couldn't see straight. I kept falling off my bike because I was so drunk. The whole class were there. It wasn't just me hanging out with my teacher. Our entire class went to her house. We had a barbecue. Her husband did the barbecue. Her kids were there. And then we all just got hammered and went home. I mean, if we can get Kane, Bellingham, Saka working together as a functional attack. Not sure Rice getting injured hurts as much as Kane or Bellingham. I mean, I think it probably does, because I'm thinking of the players who are irreplaceable in the setup. I mean, I love Bukayo Saka, but if he gets injured, there's dozens of players you could slot in and aren't a massive downgrade. But if Kane, Bellingham or Rice get injured, there is literally nobody who can step in and take their spots. Can't leave Foden out. I mean, you can on the basis that he plays the same position as Saka, and Saka's better than him. Phillips. I mean, Phillips is not close to the same level as Declan Rice, is he? He's better than nothing. I mean, I could play up front. That's better than nothing. Doesn't mean we'll win the Euros if I'm playing there. In general, with a few exceptions, the England squad's pretty average. Yeah, it is pretty average. But it's still good enough to win the Euros. Most international teams are pretty average. Most international teams have a couple of standout players and then a few that you don't even understand why they're there. It's very rare for an international team to be an all-star 11 of world beaters. It's not really how it works, is it? Unless you're France. Yeah, unless you're France. Fisho, thank you very much for 22 months. We've done that thing where I've taken, not really concentrated on what's going on in the Football Manager, just let it take care of itself. And then it takes care of itself when we go on a run of form. Wales showed you can get reasonably far with just one or two very good players. Yeah, exactly. If we get the best out of Kane and Bellingham, then we can win the Euros. Right, we're playing away against Lazio. Let's make sure we beat them. So if Arsenal don't win the league, sack Arteta. Says who? Why? I don't understand. Tactical now, England have got to the Euros final and 2 World Cup semis. I mean, there is that. England have overperformed during his time as manager, based on our historical levels of performance. Yeah, there's Rice as well. He plays a bit further back. He should be the guy who just protects the defence and then you pick 6 of the other guys. Have him and Trent sat in front of a back 3 and then just play 5 of the good attacking players together. That adds up to 11, doesn't it? But you could do like Pickford in goal, a back 4 of Walker, Stones and Colwill, Rice and Trent in front of them. And then, I don't know, Kane, Bellingham, Saka, Foden, and another one. Doesn't matter which one. Rashford if he starts scoring again. So you have Grealish maybe. Back 4 of 3 players. Yeah. Sterling, maybe. Bowen, maybe. Yeah, that's what I mean. You've got plenty of options for that attacking 5. And just tell them all to go out there and do a football. Don't get too fancy about it. What has just happened there? That's a terrible goal to concede. Foden's been playing centrally. Not as a central midfielder, though, has he? He's playing as in that attacking midfield area with Alvarez and Doku. There are 3 behind Haaland, aren't they? Is Southgate too loyal to players? No such thing. We've got an equaliser, by the way. And unbelievably, the fan base, the posh fan base on Twitter, everything they ever tweet at our owner is buy us a striker. We're I think we're the top scorers in the league. Clark Carr's contract runs out in June and Posh Chairman wants $500,000. I mean, he was going for $1 million in the summer, just gone before it didn't go through in time. I think $500,000's reasonable. Bearing in mind, at this level, he's a guaranteed 30-goal a season striker. And it wasn't even that he was overrated in FM. It was more he breaks the match engine because he's so fast. He's lightning quick, so he was always good from a young age in FM. As in, what do I need to feel more competitive? I need to get rid of all 11 players and sign an entirely new team, which we'll start doing in January. The Scottish guy's not here yet, though, so I've made no changes to this squad currently. Yeah, in a season, at the end of next season, this squad will be unrecognisable. I would suggest there's probably a pretty good chance that not a single one of these players will be here in a year and a half. We'll just completely rebuild the entire thing. Serie A is roughly equivalent to the Championship, I think. Quality-wise. That's not ideal. My Burton team would be in the Champions League qualification spots in this league. Right, we're starting to wobble a little bit after our excellent run of form. January can't come soon enough. We've played Milan, now we've got to play Juventus. This isn't ideal. Am I doing January today? No, we've still got loads of games to play before January. Still at like 8 or 9 games. We'll get to January like halfway through tomorrow night's stream, I should think. So much football still to play. I could still get sacked before the January window, even though it's been going well up until this point. Whereas Lukaku, probably running a bar somewhere. 10 years in the future, 8 years in the future, whatever it is. Long since retired, I assume. Curious to actually see what Lukaku is up to now. He's a landlord of a bar, a pub. We won't let that affect their rebuild. Tammy. Famously teetotal. I would argue maybe not famously teetotal. I wasn't aware. There are bars that don't sell alcohol. And yeah, it's probably, I would imagine the best person to run a bar is someone who's teetotal. Not going to drink the profits then, are they? You can't drink when you're working behind a bar. I mean, I imagine lots of village pub landlords do. Having worked behind a bar from the age of 18 to 22, I was drunk many a time. Wow. Would make working behind the bar the most painful job in the world. You need to drink to see through the shift. I'd only employ teetotal people then. Well, that's a red card. Do my children drink? Yes. In summary, Romelu Lukaku might not be running a bar, is what we've established. If he did, there's a whole load of pickle around people trying to buy you drinks. Yeah, he might. Who knows what he's doing? I mean, he's Belgian, isn't he? So yeah, someone's saying maybe a waffle stand. Maybe one of those really tasty places that does Belgian chips with a big dollop of mayonnaise on, where you get to choose from like 18 different mayonnaises and they're all delicious. Maybe he does that. Who knows? I mean, there's no way of finding out. Fleming, thank you very much for 60 months. Goodness me, that's a lot of months. And I think very important to remember as well, he was only on loan at Roma anyway. So his first thing was he went back to Chelsea at the end of the first season. And then he's carried on his career from there. Right, let's find out what Lukaku's doing. Lukaku. He's an unemployed manager. So all of our previous guesses were probably correct because he's not worked for 2 years in football. So he probably is selling chips somewhere. Whereabouts in Belgium is he from? Antwerp. I've never been to Antwerp. Having been to Bruges and Brussels, I assume they have the same kind of chip places in Antwerp as well. Guarantee he's running one of those. 104 goals for Belgium. Goodness me. Yeah, should we give him a job? Romelu! How you doing? Under 18s assistant manager? Of course. We're not even on his favoured clubs list. He likes every other club he played for apart from us. He's even got Al Ittihad on his favoured clubs list. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm the one who gave him a job. Interesting. How many languages can he speak? Is he like the most intelligent man in the universe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He is fluent in 8 languages. He speaks, right, forget being under 18's assistant manager. He's my translator and personal assistant now. Yeah, I mean, we're both pretty useful for the translating. I'll talk to all of our Turkish players. He can talk to any of those other ones. And it'll be fine. We're both doing our bit. He was one of the original boys before he got too old. He was Tammy Abraham before Tammy Abraham was Tammy Abraham. I can't be bothered to do it, but if someone wants to set it up, we can then get a list of the boys on there. Why aren't you allowed? You can't just randomly add Wikipedia pages. Everything has to be backed up with sources and references and signed off by the moderators over there. So someone tried to do one like 5 years ago and it was just immediately removed because I wasn't considered notable, so didn't need a page. Oh my word! Spicy Dwarf! What have you just done? 100 gifted subs! Get your nuts out for Spicy Dwarf, everybody. Thank you very much. That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you very much. Wowzers. I spat all over my beard. I was so excited there. Oh, thank you. Did our new left back / right winger just score a worldie as well? We've got our own Saka. This is a 17-year-old kid who's just come off the bench to play left back, but can also play right wing. And he's just done this in the 92nd minute. Make a note of Moha. So he's a 17-year-old Belgian. He's a left footer who's natural at left back, but also accomplished at right wing. He's only got finishing of 3 and long shots of 4. I think we might need to review some of these attributes. We're naming him Spicy Dwarf, are we? I mean, I think that's reasonable after what's just happened. Spicy Dwarf, you are a rascal. Just turns up, gifts 100. No, doesn't say anything. Love it. What a cool customer. Chamonix, yeah, that was the place it told us not to go to. Yeah, cobbled streets are an absolute no-no. When we were in Covent Garden a few months ago, the cobbled streets in Covent Garden were a nightmare for the scooter. The other option is to just strap her up like a wrestler, get injections in all of her parts, and fill her up with pain pills, and then she'll just walk around fine. She'll really suffer for months when we get home. It's a trip to Rome, isn't it? I noticed when he went to Northern Lights, I didn't get a free trip there, did I? Took him to Barcelona, took him to Turin, took him to Wales. Did he take me to the north? No, he didn't. Well, I'm pretty sure you heard a bit more. Yeah. I'm also better looking. Throw more compliments. Tell me more ways I'm better than Sheepdog. I like it. I do have a lot more hair. Exactly. Well, I don't know. I have more hair on my head. I would imagine if every hair on both of our bodies was shaved off, put in a bag and weighed, there is a chance that he has more hair than me overall.
What are you talking about?
Hello, Anna's here. Oh, by the way, look what I found. Could you ring that, please? Anna's here, everybody. She's rung the bell. I'm trying to decide who's got more hair out of me and Sheepdog. Obviously, hair on the head, I've got more. But he is basically wearing a fursuit from the shoulders down. So if you were to take off all his hair and weigh it, and all my hair and weigh it, there is a chance that he has more hair than me. We were coming up with ways I'm better than Sheepdog.
Well, in my news, I shouldn't go to the gym. And I shouldn't sit on my beanbag.
Why shouldn't you go to the gym?
Because I've been asleep for 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Anna's had a 2-hour nap. We were just talking about getting you around Rome on your scooter. Apparently it's very cobbly. Getting you around Rome. Apparently it's very cobbly. We might have to get you a wheelchair rather than your scooter to do Rome, because it's very cobbled streets, and you didn't like cobbled streets in London, did you?
Oh, God, no.
It's very... Yeah, exactly. But...
the loo and just bye.
Sometimes we talk about things. Yeah, bye. Anna's gone. Ring the bell again. I mean, that was great timing for her to be walking past, just as I'm talking about shaving Sheepdog. Wheelchairs aren't the best on them too. Have I told this story on stream? It was definitely on the podcast that we did when we went to Turin, I think. We might have just told Chris about it and decided not to include it on the podcast. Basically, we got an Uber. I think it was an Uber. He established we were there to watch the football. And I think he just assumed, oh, football fans, probably Nazis. So he then gave us a little bit of a tour of the city, including showing us all the great things, in his words, all the good things that the fascists did for Turin. If you want to know more, go and listen to that podcast, because I don't really want to talk about it on stream. But the best thing from Turin podcast is on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, it was awkward. It was very awkward. Although she doesn't mind when we've done multiple tour buses. It's Andy who hates them. I don't think Anna would mind a tour bus. Is it get on, get off, whatever you want deal? That might work. We'll figure it out. Look, Spicy Dwarf trains better than everybody as well. Comes in, does 100 gifted subs, scores a worldie, now trains better than everyone else, and has a legitimate 5-star potential. He's going to be a hero. I've just seen the time. I think we're wrapping things up, boys and girls. So tomorrow night, we'll be starting things off with this game against Inter. How many more games have we got left to play before the January window? So we'll have 3 games to play before we play against Lazios. I think they're a cereal company in the Super Cup semi-final and get started with transfers. So we will be doing transfers tomorrow night.